Scientists tell us that we have a massive problem, global climate change. Many say it's the greatest problem that we currently face. Some even say it could be the greatest challenge ever faced by human civilization. We know the reasons: fossil fuels and deforestation. We know the results: rising sea levels, mass migration, and we know the science. We've already passed 400 parts per million concentration in the atmosphere, and we've seen 1 degree of Celsius warming. Now tell me, did your eyes glaze over yet? So I've spent the last 10 years trying to engage people on climate change. And when I started doing this work, I assumed that if I just talked about the scientific facts, if you knew what I knew, then you would be inspired to take action. But it turns out that learning the science by itself doesn't work for most people. It doesn't fit with our experiences and the day-to-day view of the world. And even though we've begun to see images of rising seas and extreme weather events, most of us have not seen our comfortable lives disrupted. And therefore, we don't see climate change as a top priority when compared to good jobs, good schools, and other more pressing issues. Climate change is always something that we continue to see. It's in the distance. It's either far away in time, or it's happening to other people. It's not really happening to us. And there are those of us that see the issue as so massive that we jump straight to hopelessness. There's nothing we can do. I can't make a difference. Well, I've thought a lot about how to best talk about this issue so that people can relate to the issue. And I've approached it from a number of different ways. A lot of my work has been on thinking about how a transition to renewable energy economy will create jobs. I've also thought a lot about the health benefits and the economic benefits. But it turns out that all of those reasons are still, just like scientific facts, they're rational arguments. There's something missing in about the way that we talk about climate change. Feelings. So how do we make climate change feel relevant? How do we take an issue that seems so overwhelming and so distant and make it feel more personal and immediate? How do we get people to connect to the issue? And how do we inspire people to become engaged? Well, I have an idea. Let's talk about climate change from a place of love. What do I mean by this? I mean that even for me, an activist, someone who's worked on this for the last 10 years, I didn't think much about climate change in a personal way until I became a parent. In addition to changing almost everything else about my life, having a child made me see climate change through a different lens. You see, when climate scientists, activists, and policymakers talk about climate change, and they talk about the need to reduce greenhouse gas emissions or increase renewable energy standards, they refer to years like 2020, 2030, and 2050. Those times always seem so far off. But now, those are the times that my son Gabriel will be in the 1st grade, graduating from high school and about the age that I am now. And they no longer seem very far away. I've begun to imagine his life unfolding during this next period of time, where we either make a massive transformation of our society, or we begin to endure catastrophic climate change. When my son Gabriel was 18 months old, I met another mother, Tricia Shrum. She had just written a letter to her daughter Eleanor about climate change to open in the future. This letter became the first in a project that she and I co-founded called DearTomorrow. At its core, this project is a series of letters, videos, and photos about climate change dedicated to the people that we love, our children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, our friends, sometimes even our future selves. We share these stories on social media, and they become part of our long-term archive, preserved for the recipients when they are grown. At its core, this issue is actually very simple. We are simply connecting climate change to the values that we already hold. The values of family, parenting, and legacy. And we are not the first people to make this connection. For the last several decades, there have been moms and dads in the environmental justice movement who have connected pollution to the health of their children. And in the last 5 years, there have been a number of new organizations that have emerged that engage parents and grandparents on the issue of climate change. But what our project does is amplify this idea. We open up a conversation between generations and also amongst friends. Your friends and family on Facebook will be more open to reading a letter about your child and climate change than they would a news article about global warming. The DearTomorrow project is an opportunity to open up a conversation about climate change from a place of love. These words were written by Joylette in a letter to her 2 sons. It is an act of love to you and everyone who comes after. I really could not live with myself if I let an act of injustice as big as leaving you in an unlivable climate and didn't do everything I could possibly do to stop it. I stay up late at night and I read these letters. They inspire me. Like this one from Stacy, a mother of 3. I want for you to be able to watch the sunset in the distance and feel hope for your tomorrow. I want you to witness the massive changes we made as a society to protect you and this precious planet. So far, we have received hundreds of letters, and I have read every single one of them. There is a power and a potential in every letter to change ourselves and to inspire others. Now we know that our project is not the answer to climate change. It is not the one answer that everybody has been waiting for. But there are many, many solutions that are available right now. Our project builds on this and provides an opportunity for us to have that conversation. In a letter from Ryan to his children, I know it is long past time to wake up. The choices my generation makes now will determine your future. This is not a choice just about future generations. This is about us and the people that we love now, those we already know. We write these letters, we express our hopes and concerns for the future, our visions for what is possible, and our commitment to act. We share them with the people around us, our friends, our family, our social networks. Maybe they will change some minds. Maybe they will inspire people to act. The seeds of change are planted in many minds, and the world begins to shift. First, all too slowly, and then faster and faster. We need to make these changes fast as a boy like Gabriel grows up. This is the world I want for my child and yours. Thank you.